Lonzo Ball was once viewed as a franchise-changing point guard, a guy that could be the floor general on the court and make the offense a lot easier for his teammates. But as we've seen, his career really hasn't gone as people expected it should be, and especially since arriving in Cleveland, his offensive impact has completely vanished from his game. And the Lonzo Ball that the Cleveland Cavaliers currently have isn't the Lonzo Ball that they traded for in the offseason. But before I get into that, I ask that y'all go down and subscribe. My goal is to reach 500 subscribers, so if you like the content, I'd appreciate it if you give it a like and you subscribe. With all that being said, let's get into the video. So what were the Cleveland Cavaliers hoping to get when they traded for Lonzo Ball? Well, for one, they needed some backup point guard play because Ty Jerome left them for the Memphis Grizzlies. And they just really lacked depth at that position. I mean, last season they had Ty Jerome obviously as the sixth man. They got some production from Craig Porter Jr. He was a rookie, I believe, and he's pretty solid. But overall, they just lacked backcourt play, and especially when the Cavaliers are injured, because Garland and Donovan Mitchell have had a lot of injuries throughout these few years as Cleveland's built this team. They needed a guy that could come in and just run the offense very efficiently and provide a high level of playmaking, and that's what they expected from Lonzo Ball. But so far on the season, Lonzo Ball, offensively at least, has just been atrocious. He's only averaging 5 points per game. He's giving you 4 assists and he's giving you 4 rebounds. But the field goal percentage and the three-point percentage is just falling off a cliff. He's shooting around 31% from the field, and he's shooting 28% from 3 on 4 attempts. And to just put into context statistically how bad Lonzo Ball has been, he's comparable with the guy like Bronny James. That's legit how bad Lonzo Ball has been, at least offensively. Defensively, he's actually been pretty positive. He's comparable to guys like Paul George, Dyson Daniels, OG Anunoby, Moses Moody, Cason Wallace, and that's one of his positive aspects in his game still. But I really want to focus on the offensive side, at least for this video. So obviously what's contributing to Lonzo Ball's bad offensive play is the injury toll that he's taken over the majority of his career. Obviously, when he was in LA, he struggled heavily with ankle problems and a little bit of knee problems, but definitely once he got to Chicago, that's when the knee problems started to come into play, which led to his most major injury, which is messing up his meniscus. And as we all know, that injury sidelined him for basically like 2.5 seasons. He had to have like a very experimental surgery, and he did end up getting back on the court, which is a blessing and a shock within itself because people didn't expect Lonzo Ball to come back and even be able to walk, let alone play basketball. But that major injury singly affected the way he plays the game of basketball now. It's almost like it's a guy that's still knows how to play the game and still knows how to be the player that he used to be, but your body's just not cooperating. I mean, the burst of speed is gone, that quick first step is gone. He can't really drive to the basket. His finishing numbers have never really been that good, but very much right now they're just like very bad. The defense, you could kind of sag on him a little bit because he doesn't really provide that big of a scoring threat, being that he can't really finish the ball as well or is willing to finish the ball. And then the shooting, which used to be a bright spot for him, especially in Chicago when he was shooting 42% from 3 on 7 attempts. The shot's just not falling, and I really don't know what to explain with that. It could be a confidence issue. I mean, the form looks pretty fine to me. It looks the same, so may just be a confidence issue, who knows. But that's kind of like what the saving grace was for him. If you can't drive the ball, at least be able to shoot. But we haven't seen the ability from him to be able to shoot the ball throughout this season so far. Now, to not critique the negatives, the positives of Lonzo Ball's game is still very apparent. He's still able to play defense. As I mentioned before, statistically he's on par with some pretty good defenders in the NBA. He could still pass the ball very well. I mean, the IQ's still there. That hasn't left him at all, and the injury hasn't really affected that. And he's not a bad teammate, and I feel like that goes a long way, being a likable person, being a guy that people in the locker room could just mess with and, hang around. And although those are some very good qualities to still have in an NBA player, the NBA is a majority offensive league. Defense can only take you so far. Playmaking can only take you so far. Without being a threat on the offensive end, at least just a tad bit, you're not going to be in the NBA for that long. And that's what we're seeing with Lonzo Ball. So the question is, can we really see Lonzo return to form, or at least resemble a player that he used to be? And that's honestly a big ask of Lonzo Ball. I mean, he's in his 7th season. He had a life-changing injury. He might not even be able to walk the same after his playing days are over. Honestly, I don't really know. Maybe it's just a confidence issue so far. I mean, in Chicago, he still shot the ball pretty bad, but he was averaging more points. He averaged about 8 points per game. And was giving you around the same rebound and assist production. He shot the ball way better from 3. He took 6 attempts, shot 34%, which is still below league average, but it's better than 28% on less attempts. So who knows? It could be a confidence issue. He's playing around the same minutes that he did in Chicago. But yeah, the answer of can Lonzo Ball return to form? I'm going to say no for right now. I mean, I hope it's not one of those situations where this is kind of just a player that he's going to be now, because eventually he's just going to get phased out of the league. And it's pretty sad. I mean, this guy was a number 2 overall pick, and injuries just kind of derailed his career. And I wouldn't really label him a bust per se because of that. I mean, you can if you want, but honestly, I mean, when injuries affects a guy's level of play and eventually saps them of the player that they used to be, I wouldn't really view them necessarily as a bust. But yeah, that's all for this video. I just kind of wanted to talk about Lonzo Ball in general, how he's been playing so far this season, and kind of just, how his career turned out. But you guys can let me know in the comments below what you think of Lonzo Ball so far. Are his playing days coming to an end? What do you think about his level of play on the Cavaliers so far this season? Just let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time.